Well, I can only imagine how wonderful everyone is looking tonight, and I'm so disappointed not to be there with all of you. Last-minute demands are part of the business of news, and the Ontario budget created an unavoidable conflict for me, so I was thrilled when the organizers said that I could at least make a brief appearance via video. You know, I owe such a debt of gratitude to nurses, especially after the past year and a half. When I realized I had a problem with one of my breasts, I went immediately, without calling, to my doctor's office, and I was told upon arrival that she couldn't see me for a month. Now, the nurse, seeing how anxious I was, offered to check with another doctor who hadn't started seeing patients yet. Now, waiting a month, as I'm sure all of you can appreciate, would have had serious implications, and it was because of this nurse I was dealt with right away. During chemo, I was in the compassionate hands of nurses, and if I had any problems, I called the nurses who worked with my oncologist, Sandra and Tawny. And by the way, if you beautiful ladies are there, hello, and thank you so much for your care and your patience. When I think of the nitty-gritty stuff I would call you about, it's a little embarrassing, but you know what? You were always gracious. You always made me feel secure and safe. You know, everywhere I turned, a nurse was there helping me survive during the most difficult and frightening time of my life, from my hysterectomy to 5 months of chemo, to my double mastectomy, to my radiation, to the ongoing monitoring and scanning that comes with a post-cancer life. You know, I laugh when I think about one experience, though. After the hysterectomy, I started chemo less than 3 weeks later, and it seems I developed a post-op infection, and my white count just crashed. And I was in the ER and eventually admitted to hospital. I was there for about a week, and during my stay, a student nurse came in with her mentor, and she was holding what looked to me, at least, like the biggest needle I had ever seen. And she informed me that to guard against the possibility of a blood clot, she would be inserting that giant needle in my abdomen. Now, I had a huge and very tender incision that was still healing, and I wasn't, needless to say, thrilled by the prospect of a needle there, and said so, politely but firmly. And I was then congratulated by the nurse who was mentoring this young lady. She told me how great it was that I felt comfortable verbalizing how I was feeling. And I smiled because I realized then that I had become one of those difficult patients this young nurse had been warned about. Now, although I did not get the needle, I did get the point. Nurses are just trying to keep you comfortable, keep you alive, and they're trying to make you feel cared for and make you feel like you matter. And that feeling is essential when you're afraid and unwell. So I'm so glad that I have this opportunity to say thank you. Thank you. It's inadequate, but believe me, it's from the heart. And I hope all of you have a wonderful evening. You so richly deserve it.